Hi, I'm Kris from Theme Park to Table, cooking up delicious theme park recipes from all over the world. We're doing the recipes one take, no editing, real cooking. Today we're starting off with Delish Loves Disney. We're starting with the very first one, the Hollywood Brown Derby Cobb Salad. There'll be a link for the book and a page number for the recipe below. Let's get started. We're going to start out by getting our bacon cooked. The recipe itself calls for less bacon than what I'm going to be using, but if your family is anything like my family, there's no such thing as too much bacon. So we're going to cook up the whole thing. While I get this sliced up, I'm going to reach over and just get my pan preheating a little bit. I'm going to keep this in fairly good sized chunks. When they cook up, they're about bite size. I want a little bit bigger than bacon bits, but not so big that it's more than a mouthful of the salad. Get this broken up. You'll also notice as I go through the recipes that for some of the recipes, stuff is pre-measured, and I'm not giving exact measurements. That is intentional. If you want the full and complete recipe, I would recommend grabbing the magazine that it's coming from or the cookbook that we're using it for. So let's get this broken up and in the pan. The bacon I'm using is just from the store. I actually usually grab the low sodium stuff. That's just a preference that I have. Whatever you have, it certainly work just as well. Look at this. My hands a quick rinse. And let's get a spatula. So when that starts going, we are ready for it. Okay, we are just gonna let that be. Okay, so next we're actually going to start on the dressing for the salad while the bacon starts sizzling. Got my bowl here. We are going to start off with water, red wine vinegar. We're going to do some fresh squeezed lemon juice. I always like to roll the lemons kind of hard, give them a little bit of pressure so that when you squeeze them you get more juice. If you have a problem with getting juice out of your lemons, I recommend throwing them in the microwave for about 10 seconds, and that will release more of the juices from them. We don't need a whole ton for this recipe, so I think we'll be okay without the microwave. Just going to kind of go into my hands to catch some of the seeds. And honestly, I'm just going to kind of eyeball it for this. Okay, that should be good. Just get rid of those seeds. Next up, we go some Worcestershire Sauce. We're going to go some fresh ground salt, if I can get it open. The salt, I would say, is always at the taste. We'll give it a taste at the end. We'll see what we think. Then we're going to add in some fresh garlic. But first, I'm just going to give this bacon a quick stir. Everybody likes their bacon differently. In my house, and my kids and my husband, we like our bacon crispy. So I'm going to bring this to a very crispy, crunchy consistency. I'm going to give the garlic a little whap. Get it to come out of its shell. Maybe? Okay. And then we're just going to give this a quick little slice and dice. I don't want anything to be too big. Most people don't enjoy big hunks of raw garlic in their mouth. I think I'm one of the exceptions. Personally, I love garlic. Just about good enough. I'm just going to give that a little scoop. Add it to the party. Let's give our bacon a little bit of attention again. Okay, that's looking like it's starting. Give it a little bit more heat, see if we can move it along a little bit. Next up, we're going to add in some sugar, some ground dry mustard. The recipe itself calls for English dry mustard. All I had was regular dry mustard. I'm honestly not sure what the difference is, if there even is one. I'm going to go with some fresh black pepper. And then we're going to give these all a little whisk to start. Kind of get everything incorporated together. The recipe calls this a French dressing. Okay, and then next we're going to go and we're going to add in our vegetable oil. We're going to continue to whisk and we're going to stream it in kind of slowly to try to get it to emulsify as it goes in. We don't want this separating. We're going to keep on stirring and keep on whisking. Okay, that's all the vegetable oil. And then next we're going to put in a little bit of olive oil as well. Once again, we're just going to keep on whisking. And we're going to keep whisking for a little bit afterwards. Try to get that all combined together. We are going to give it a whisk again before we dress our salad with it at the end. But we just want to make sure everything kind of sticks together a little bit. Okay, that looks like a salad dressing. So that looks pretty good, I think. I've never actually personally had the Hollywood Brown Derby Cobb Salad in the parks. So I don't know if this looks similar to the dressing that they serve with it or not. When I read the recipe the first time, it said a French dressing, and I was honestly looking for ingredients that would make it red, because in my mind, every time I've seen a French dressing, it always kind of has a red base to it. But we'll wait and see. Hopefully it's delicious. Okay, give that bacon a little stir. When I make my bacon, I tend not to heat the pan up too hot before I put it in. I find if I put it in with the pan just a little bit warm, it cuts down on some of the splattering that happens, and it actually cuts down on a little bit of the bacon shrinking up a lot, kind of cooks it more evenly. Okay, so there's that. Okay, so we're going to move next to preparing some of the greens for the base of the salad. We're going to start with our iceberg lettuce. I have already given this iceberg lettuce a pretty good rinse beforehand, so it should be nice and clean. I just peeled off the outer leaves of it. It calls for a fine chop. I'm just going to kind of go one way. We're going to flip it around. We're going to go the other way. And we're going to call it a day. We're going to pull out any parts from the stem that are still kind of there, that are a little dark, that don't look as nice. We'll make those disappear for now. And then we're going to put this right into a bowl. I'll break it apart a little bit. Okay, so there's the lettuce. Next up, we're going to add in some watercress. And this, we're just going to give a little chop too. We don't want to go too crazy with it. We don't want to bruise the greens. We want them to look nice in a salad. Before we do that, back to the bacon. The bacon's seconding. So we're going to give the bacon a little stir again. There we go. It's starting to look good. See a little bit of caramelization around the edges. That's what we want to see. A little bit of fat rendering down. I wish you guys could smell it, because bacon always smells amazing when it's cooking. I'm just going to put this into a little ball, and I'm just going to kind of go through it once with a knife. Just so you guys know too, this is the first time I've ever made this recipe. This is not something I've ever made before. All the recipes I'm making on this channel will be a first time for me, so it'll be the first time making them straight through, and I have no idea how they're going to turn out. So just hoping that they turn out good. I'm just going to kind of mix these two together, and then we're going to go in with our last. This is supposed to be chicory leaves. However, given where I live and the time of year it is, I cannot find chicory leaves anywhere. I have searched every market near and far, even checked on Amazon with absolutely no luck. So I did some research and I found that escarole is a very close relative to chicory leaves, and we are subbing in the escarole for the chicory leaves today. If you can find chicory leaves, by all means use them. It's just not something I was able to find. That's a little poppy. Good. Turn that down just a smidge. Turn it over with a few grease burns. As for the iceberg, I have gone through and washed it. I haven't really gone through and picked out the pieces. I just pulled it apart a little bit and gave it a quick rinse, so it'd be a little bit drier when we were cooking with it, so you don't end up with a puddle of water at the bottom of your salad. Once again, they asked for a fine chop. This is a little heartier, so I'm going to go at it a little bit more than I did with the watercress, but not a ton. I find if lettuce in the salad is chopped too fine, it's really hard to stick it on your fork and actually eat it. It ends up just all over you. So I'm going to add that in next, right on top. We're going to give that a nice little mix, and that'll be the bed for our salad. Looks pretty good so far. Okay, just gonna give it a little bit of this lettuce. And these, which I'm just gonna drop in the sink behind me, and we'll clean it out afterwards. Use a little temporary garbage can for now, because my garbage is all the way across the kitchen. Back to our bacon. Okay. That looks delicious. If nothing else turns out good, I have faith the bacon will be good. So, even if everything else sucks, the bacon. We'll have the bacon. Okay, so next on top of this, we're gonna get some turkey breast ready. The recipe calls for poached turkey breast. I did not buy a turkey breast and poach it. I'm sorry to say. It's not seasonal. Honestly, I have 3 kids. I don't have the time to poach a turkey breast for a salad. So I bought some Deli Turkey, which I thought was a lot more family friendly, user friendly, and I was going to chop this up and add it to our salad. Once again, I'm not going to go crazy, just kind of bite-sized pieces. If you look at the actual recipe, when you get the book, and I highly recommend getting the book because there are a lot of delicious recipes in it, and I do intend on cooking my way through the entire book, so we'll see how that goes. You'll see that their turkey is cut up very, very fine. I would say almost to the point where I would almost call it processed. I prefer the meat in my salad to have a little bit more substance. Theirs almost looks like a ham salad kind of consistency. This I prefer, so we're gonna go with this consistency. My bowl is not overly large, so we're gonna do our lines, and we're gonna go from long and over to kind of try to fit as much in there as we can. I don't think it's an ideal shape, but I do not have a big round bowl for this kind of salad. I need to check this bacon again because we are closing in on the finish line. This bacon is almost done. And I like to get rid of that line between really well done and just before it burns. And bacon can go from beautiful brown and crunchy to burnt really fast. So get that in a thin line. And I say we just probably have a few more minutes on that bacon. I'm gonna have to kind of keep an eye on that while I'm doing this. Okay, so I'm just kind of breaking apart the layers of turkey, the stacks, because it's not kind of all stuck together. Make it look a little prettier, a little less like deli turkey. Once again, if you want to poach a turkey breast and do it that way, have at it. Otherwise, I'd say deli turkey works fine. Whatever brand you like, whatever your store has. So we're going to go with a line of turkey right from front to back. As soon as we finish getting this turkey on here, I'm going to pull that bacon because that bacon is ready. Okay. So I'm going to turn this off. I have a bowl just now with some paper towels and a slotted spoon. I'm just going to kind of scooch it off the side. Get rid of the spoon. And I'm just going to scoop this out of here. Now typically what I do with my bacon grease is I usually will drain it into a coffee mug or another type or a small bowl. And if I'm doing something where I can use the grease, I'll save it. Otherwise I let it harden and then I kind of scrape it and throw it away in the garbage can. You don't want to put bacon grease down your drain. Not good for your sink. So for now, when I finish, I'm just going to set this pan to the side. And when we're done making the salad, I will deal with that as part of the cleanup. So we're just going to get out the last couple pieces. There we go. I'm going to move this to the side. Spin the handle so we don't burn ourselves on it. Get rid of that spoon. And I'm just going to kind of pat the bacon a little bit. Try to get some of the grease off of it. Then we're going to set it aside and let it cool until we're ready for it. So after the turkey, we're going to go tomatoes. Tomatoes, once again, I pre-washed. I just gave them a quick rinse. Pop the top off the container. Nothing fancy here. Just going to take them and give them a quick cut in half. And get them out to the party. I have to say I'm very curious about how that dressing is going to taste. I'm kind of excited to taste it at the end. Okay, we give that one a third cut because it's kind of big. Let's see how we're doing for space before we cut up any more. Because I do want to be able to fit everything on here, and I know that space is a bit of an issue. Okay, turkey, you're going to have to share. Okay, I think we're going to stop there with the tomatoes. I think that's a pretty good amount of tomatoes in there. Next, we're going to go to the avocado. Hopefully this guy is ripe. I'm really not good at picking avocados. And I always get the ones that are underripe, and then I think I'm going to put them aside to ripen them, and by the time I get to them, they're overripe. And I'm not sure if there's a secret to picking avocados, but if there is, I'm not aware of it. So we're going to hope that this one actually is ripe. And actually, I'll see if I can put a link below as to how to pick a ripe avocado. And we'll see what we can find. Okay, so we're just going to, we pop the seed. We're just going to give a kind of a quick score. This avocado actually looks pretty good. It's a nice color. It's soft, but not mushy. We may have a winner here. Okay. So we'll get that guy scooped out. And we'll get this side scooped out. Okay, and we got a little bit of the end here. So we're just going to take that out of there. We don't want that in there. I'm going to just make sure it's a little bit finer chopped. Not everybody in my house is huge avocado fans, so I want it to be big enough that they can pick it out if they don't want it, but also not so big that all you're going to get in your mouth is an avocado and you can't get a little bit of everything else from the salad when we mix it all up. So we're going to stop there for avocado. We're going to bring it kind of a little bit overlapping and down next to the tomato. Kind of keep it in a little line. Just like that. There we go. I'm going to give my hands a real quick rinse, and I'm absolutely covered in avocado now. Next up, we're coming in with the blue cheese. I bought already crumbled blue cheese. If you have a favorite brand, you can buy your favorite brand. You can crumble it yourself. I bought one that I think is, kind of medium when it comes to pungentness. It's not a super royal Stilton where it's really, really pungent, but it's also not really mild. I also would imagine if you don't like blue cheese, you probably could put feta in here instead. Definitely a little bit more mild. It's probably better for kids, for some kids. My kids are older, they're not super picky. They happen to like blue cheese. But I'm just gonna go with a little line of blue cheese right down here. And this is one of those things that when I serve it, I'll put on the table with it, as well as probably, honestly, the dressing. I'll toss some in, but I'll put the extra dressing with it too, and if somebody wants more, they can always add a little bit extra when they dish up their salad. So the blue cheese is on, so next we're gonna go for the bacon. So, this should hopefully be cool enough by now. It is. If you look, you can tell that the bacon is definitely got a crisp to it. It's not super fatty. You could cook your bacon however your family likes it, but here we like our bacon crunchy. So we're gonna go with a line right down here. Looking at this salad now, hindsight, I probably should have done a little bit less turkey. My turkey line should have been a little thinner, but that's okay. Live and learn. Same thing with the bacon. I'm gonna have more than I can fit on. I'll put that on the table too with the salad stuff. And as people dish their salad, they can top more bacon on it if they want. Like I said, I was making more than the recipe called for because in my house, people love bacon. So we'll set that aside as well for the end. And then the last thing that's gonna go on before come the garnish is hard-boiled eggs. I hard-boiled the eggs ahead of time and peeled them. I'm gonna put a link down below as to how I do that, the method I use, but I figured nobody likes to sit around and watch boiled water. And water always seems to take forever when you need it to boil fast. And I figured that would be the whole length of the video. Because I do cook them for about 15 minutes and they cool for 15 minutes. And I didn't want to sit here waiting for eggs since we're not doing any edits or cuts. So my eggs are boiled to a hard consistency. I'm just gonna go quarters with them and then just give them a couple. I kind of like the eggs to stay together. I don't necessarily want the yolks to fall away from all the whites. So we're just going to give them a quick little chop. And then I think we're actually going to put them over some of the turkey breast between the turkey and the tomato, since we have run out of room on the other side of our bowl. So we're going to go right here. And there'll be a hidden layer of turkey underneath for people to discover later. Typically, you toss the salad before you serve it anyway, so that you put it on the table like this and you take it and toss it all together. So in the end, it won't really matter if there's extra turkey underneath the eggs. Okay, there's that. Another quick rinse the hands. And the very last step of this whole thing is some fresh chives. The recipe says that you can take your chives and you can lay a line of chives down over it. For my purposes here, I'm just gonna top it with chives on top. I'm gonna kind of go straight down over here a little bit, but I'm just gonna kind of go a little bit everywhere because I think our lines are kind of in the wind at this point. So we're just gonna kind of go right here. We put a few more up top. There we go. So there is the salad before the dressing is put on it. And then I'm going to take the dressing again, and I'm going to kind of give it a little whisk. I'm actually going to, before I put this on there, I'm going to take that avocado spoon and I'm going to give it just a quick little taste and see how it is to make sure the salt tastes right before I add it on. So let's see. That's actually very delicious. The garlic is a little strong, but it tastes like a homemade vinaigrette, like a garlic vinaigrette. I don't know that I would call it a French dressing. I'm not sure what in it makes it a French dressing, but that is really delicious. So I'm going to take this, and then I'm going to grab a little spoon. I'm just going to do a light drizzle for now until we mix it up afterwards, and then we'll call it a day. Okay, so there it is, the Hollywood Brown Derby Cobb Salad. It looks pretty close to the picture. Overall, I would say it was very easy to make, nothing very challenging there. I'd say anybody could do it. If you like this video, hit like. If you want to see more videos, hit subscribe. I do plan on doing all the recipes in the Disney Loves Delish book, which we will link down below. This book has got a lot of recipes in it. I think that some of them are going to be more comical than others with a challenging level, but we're going to give it a shot. Thanks. Have a nice day. GoPro, stop recording. GoPro, stop recording.